The 1st of November, Marianne Azizi, 1st of November 2015. And we are here with Danny, who is an ex...
Mr. Danny Moroz.
Mr. Danny Moroz, who's an ex-police officer from many years ago. Danny, I'm hearing that you were involved in a man going to prison.
Yes.
What happened?
I went an investigation about him. He was suspected as the first time, I think, in murder of a witness of the prosecution in a case about drug dealing with in opium at that time. This was in 1977, 78, something like this, 79, something like this. And he was, I think, in this investigation, look, it was started that in this investigation, someone put a bomb in the flat, in the apartment of a family. That they had two small children and husband and wife, and he was called to the army, and she was along with another friend, and a bomb exploded in the bed when she went to sleep.
So it exploded, the bomb actually went off. It exploded.
Yes, but not her,
right.
Her friend.
Okay.
Her friend, a girl, because she was an 18, beautiful girl, as I said. But she was the witness for the prosecution that was about to testify in the district court in Tel Aviv. About, I think, 2 or 3 days after she was about to testify. She testified after it, and she was wanted, not severely, but she tested, and it was okay with her. And that man who went to prison, he was questioned. He was a suspect.
Of actually trying
because he was the brother of that drug dealer that she was about to testify against him, the drug dealer that hid 2 kilos of opium in their flat of this
So he was the brother of the drug dealer, so it looked fairly straightforward, yeah?
He was no criminal, he had no criminal record. He was, but before the bombing, he went and met this woman. And he was kind of threatened her with hints, you have children and this, I know where you're working and this and that. She was frightened, and
So you were doing your job. It looked pretty straightforward that
Yes,
he
yes, that he was the
a
suspect.
strong suspect.
And moreover, we had the informer, yes, that he was the one, that he saw him run away from his apartment, from her apartment, because the informer lived in the same house.
And did this suspect
And he-
deny it? Did he say he didn't do it?
Yes,
All
he
the way
denied it.
through, right.
Denied it. Yes. And afterwards, years afterwards, it was he was. It was discovered that he was a liar. Yes. He was an informant for the police, but all the tests that made about his information showed that he was alive, not only in this matter, but in this case, there were many details that were tested about it, and was proved that he lied.
So the suspect went to prison for how long? He went to jail, the suspect, yeah.
Look, he was he tried not for murder, but in
Is it attempted murder?
no, not attempted murder. As I remember, he was Kshirat Kesher. How do you call it?
Bluff.
No, but in the law
Planning
it is called-
or
no, not planning.
okay.
Criminal.
He established contacts with criminal factors.
No, it was not.
קשרת קשר לביצוע פשע?
כן.
Okay. So this is
It was yes. It was a plot, okay, a
It's
criminal
a
plot to make a criminal offense, okay,
What did
to
he go
make
to?
this murder,
Right, okay.
But he was sentenced for, I think, 4 years.
hmm
4 years, and the prosecution appealed, and I think in the Supreme Court they made it 7 years.
How did you feel responsible for this? Because, you know, you were in the police and the courts did their job. So where did you feel bad about it? What part of it?
One of the evidence, he look, he was tortured, but not by me, but another policeman investigator that was under my responsibility. This is another matter if I knew it and when I knew it, and but this is altogether, this is my responsibility, this is one thing. But when he was speaking with me, he had enough of this. And then he told me this.
Stop.
Uh,
So
was,
the prisoner was tortured under your command, if you like, not by your hands, but he was tortured. Is and how do you describe torture? For those of us who might not know it.
I know what he said, what he told, and afterwards, what he complained about this, and he told that he was that investigator put on him a coat, but on the opposite side, you know, that you close it
From the back.
from the back, and you
Okay.
have a cap in the coat like this that you put on your head, on this side, not on the opposite side, and then you put your hands he was with handcuffs, you know.
Mhm.
He was put and that he hung his hands on the דיצ'ו לחלון.
So basically, they just hung him from the
window.
window.
Yes, in the window,
On the
somewhere in the
bar.
window. It was a heavy window, yes. And the way that he had to stand like this, you know, on his toes.
Okay.
Okay. Yes.
Right.
When if he want to rest, then he's hung in his hand and it's hurt. Then he has to stand up again, and then he can't stand very long on his head. And then he beat him. And when you're beaten, you can't breathe.
Right.
You breathe in yourself. You know, you can.
And
almost
did
drown
he
in this.
did he confess because of the torture to something he hadn't done?
That's what I think. No, not because of this. Because when he spoke to me, he didn't say anything to me about this. But afterwards, or after the investigation, and he was calm. He was calm. I didn't see it, or maybe I see part of this, and I stopped it in the moment that I saw it. And I stopped it. That's what I testified afterwards, I think, if I can remember afterwards. But I spoke with him, I think, in the same evening or the day after. I don't remember, but not in the connection with this, with all this beating and all this. It was not like this, and then I talked to him. No, it was afterwards, and he was calm. But I investigated him, interrogated him, yes, and he had enough of this question all over again, all and over, and he was fed up with this, and he said, listen, look, I did it. You have evidence? Bring it to court. In other words, fuck you.
Just
Yes.
leave me alone. I did it.
Yes, I did it, yes. You have the evidence, bring it to court, it's okay. I wrote it down afterwards. What I should do is sit down with him and
He writes the witness statement with you.
yes, and tell him, look, a few moments ago, or half an hour ago, I don't know, you told me this and this. What do you say about this? How do you react? I didn't. I wrote it down afterwards, and he didn't know that I wrote it down. Okay? I testified after this in his court, and I was asked by his lawyer. He was. Look, all he did for you, I tell you, yes, his lawyer, he's a good lawyer, I tell you that what he told you, or his so-called confession, was just had enough of this and this, the way I told you. This,
Yeah.
And he was angry, and he told you, look, get away from me. I just, okay, I did it, bring it to court. This is the tone of the words. And this was about a year after all this. And when I testified in the court, look, I knew it. I testified that the tone of his word, I don't know I don't remember. I wrote the facts, not the tone of his word, what he meant, I don't know, not now. And do you agree and that you had to do it, and you had to do it the way in front of him and write it down with it? I told, in second thought, I told in court, I told, yes, I made a mistake. The court took it as first evidence. You know, it's not first evidence, how do you call it? It's an evidence, but the first step of an evidence. I
It's
don't know
the
how to call it.
preliminary trial.
Yes, something like this.
Mhm.
but they convicted him not only on this base, but they believed that he did it. I think because of this. I think. Yes, because this is one thing. And
So how long was he in prison for, Danny?
no, he was in prison, and I think after he was released from prison, in the prison he learned how to be a high standard of crook, you know.
Okay, he learned even more of trade,
Yes.
as a lot of
And
people
he
do. He got
He
better.
had a good head,
Mhm.
and then he was tried for 2 cases of importing drugs from Eastern Europe. I think 2 ships, you know,
Mhm.
something big, real big, and he made a deal with the prosecution for these 2 deals, and it was good deal at that time for these crimes for something like 18 years, and then they appealed in the Supreme Court, made it 16 years, and he sat down as I think 15 years.
Okay.
Yes. Only asked me afterwards. Afterwards, he made a connection. I met him in prison, and then we sat down. I was there because another reason, but I saw him, and we sat down with this, and we spoke friendly. Look, I never hit him, beat him, and I was not.
You didn't torture him,
No.
but you helped him to go to your testimony.
Yes, my testimony
Sent him.
was something that's and another thing that I discovered with his lawyer. That I was very by the years with his lawyer for the big cases of the drugs.
Mhm.
He was my good friend. He was he died about a year ago. He was 80 years old.
Did you feel guilty about this man in prison,
Of course.
even though he was a criminal and he went on to commit loads of crimes?
Look,
Did you not justify that in your mind, thinking, he was a bad
I
guy anyway?
knew another thing. When I sat down in the cafe with his lawyer. We used to do it. We were very friendly. That he was his lawyer made me a lawyer, a real lawyer. He was one of the top criminal lawyers in Israel. Maybe the best of them. I believe the best of them, but I say maybe. Yes. And he taught me how to be a court lawyer in court. He helped me, yes. He made me for what I am. If he says I was a good lawyer, okay, I'm all right, but mostly because of him. I was very attached with his language. And we sat down in the cafe. I told him something that I believed it was in the file of the investigation, that in Israel you have to give it to the lawyer of the defendant. Okay,
Right.
everything that
Yes.
is in the file, everything. In this. Oh,
Carry on.
okay.
Yeah.
In the investigation,
Mhm.
this is an investigation. made something successful in this investigation. We succeeded to discover who really put the bomb in this apartment. And this was it was מקצוען.
Well, that's good. You found out.
Professional.
You found
No,
that
professional. He was a
professional.
professional, somewhat the genius in electricity, and he's made something that, and she,
The witness.
the witness, she, this I know in the investigation afterwards, and she, איך קוראים לזהות, she saw him when she went down to the house. I told him, go down. The police will come there to seek for. No, we don't know. At the time, at that day, when they put the bomb, I put an ambush of detectives day and night in the apartment and out and the house and outside so on, because there was a burglar
Okay. So
entered the house.
you were ready to.
No, burglar went in the house with them, and we think that he put the bomb in this and that and went out. She discovered this, and then I sent the lab, to seek for prints and this and that. And they came to the house, and he came to the house to seek for fingerprints and all this. And he sat down on the bed when the bomb was under his butt, Yes.
Okay.
And it didn't work because you have to do something like this to make the bomb work. And but then she was scared. I told her, look, go to your parents' house. It was in Jaffa. Go to your parents' house. And she said, what, do I have to fight? I said, no, it's okay. If you don't want, stay back at home and I'll increase the guards there.
And this is when she saw the actual
No,
person
as
who
she
did it.
discovered this, she went to bed like this with the girl that was her friend, and she wanted that. She was very neurotic, with this. And she went down, and then she remembered that she forgot to cover the small children with the smicha.
With the blanket.
With the blanket,
Yeah.
yes. And she did it like this, and she said, she was in bed, and then when she remembered that she made this.
Like she
jump like
jumped.
this.
Yeah.
I discovered something, and then she made the bomb. Then the bomb under the head of this, they changed the places,
I'm with
and
you.
the head of
Right.
this.
So can I ask you, Danny, do you feel like you put an innocent man in prison?
Listen, and then we act with her description of the car when she went down to wait for the police to come to the lab, to come to the forensic, she saw a car, an American car, Valiant, 1962, wandering around this house, and the car was during the 60s. It was a serial in the television, Starsky and Hutch.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
And their car was with the,
It had the stripes down the
some
side.
stripes like
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, the red with
And
white.
it was something, and those, and the one who had the car, he made the same. Starts with they had the same car, and we afterward the lab after the bombing discovered that the bomb had a part of the way you operate these.
Like the trigger or the detonator?
Yes, the trigger.
Yeah.
And we went with a part with such a depth. We discovered that in Canada it was this car, this Valiant 62 car
Wow,
was
okay.
produced in Canada. And because of this and that, we came with this.
Yeah.
We discovered the one who did it, the electrician. He was a genius. He was a genius, and he made this the circle, the electric circle that they made there. He had it at his home.
Okay,
he carried it home. There was a parrot coming. There was dig and light.
So your prisoner that you put to prison wasn't smart enough to have done this anyway.
No,
he wasn't.
He
wasn't a genius.
He was sent by someone.
Okay.
And then he was interrogated in our office for about 30 or 60 days, and he said nothing. He had a good reason not to say nothing, and he was also tortured, but he said nothing. All this operation was in the file. And I brought this file with this to one of the main prosecutors in the prosecution in Tel Aviv. I gave him the file. I explained him everything. Moreover, he was part of the time. He was with us in the investigation. Do this, do that. I have to do. He knew about all this. I thought that his lawyer gave. He was given this part that I told you now. Now, if it was appeared in the trial, then he should have been acquitted.
Right.
A reasonable doubt, at least.
Right.
And then I discovered after 30 years with his lawyer that I told you. And I told him about all this story. He was astonished. I don't believe it. Then he called with me. He was still in prison, but he had the way to speak with him on the telephone, and he asked him if something like this was in the file. This guy he was a prisoner, he said this was the first time that he heard about it. Then he called the lawyer that represented him
All
at that
time ago.
It was not the same. At that time,
Yeah.
that I know him, he was a very, he was a very good lawyer also, from the first line of the good lawyers there. And he was astonished. He said, this is the first time I hear about this. And I said, it can't be. I brought it to the lawyer. That lawyer, at that time, he passed away. He was dead.
Right.
Yes. And I told him, it can't be. I brought it to him. I explained him this investigation step by step. And he didn't, I don't know, he had the file. I don't know who took it out of the file. and it was hidden from his defenders, lawyer for the defense, and he couldn't bring it to court. I didn't know that because I didn't sit in all the sessions of this court. I had I testified and that's it. I didn't know what.
You had a job to do. You were a cop. You
Yes,
know?
I don't know. He was during and not during the appeal. Nothing. I knew about this only about 30 years or 27 years afterwards.
And the man was still in prison at this
Yes,
point?
at that time he was still in prison in the case of the drugs.
Okay. Not
Okay.
for the original,
The
yeah.
fault is that, the case of the, all he asked me, after I told him, look, if from the 7 years, I entitled to my third that I set all these 7 years in full. If you can help me with this story and the other story of my, what I told you about my testimony, maybe they can give me back the 4 years, then I'm out now. I said, okay, and I tried to. He knows it. I tried to, and moreover that he when we had these conversations, he recorded me. I didn't know, he recorded me. And then it was published, you know. But okay, I would have done the same if I was in his position. I understand it. We remained friends, how do you call it? And then was the television, all this and that. There was
And he was
all
released.
Yes, and at that evening, that was I was interviewed in the television, and I told them all this in details. And then his son was, I think, 10 years old. He called me on the telephone. Oh, thank you that you brought my brother back and my father back home. And it was not that I brought him. That was it. It was very exciting for me.
You changed the course of his life, though, because
Yes.
that point
Yes.
when he went
Changed,
inside
yes.
changed the whole
Yes. Look,
direction of his
I
life.
don't know.
But that's life, you know.
I don't know the truth.
Hmm.
But in the eyes of the law, he shouldn't go to prison for this.
So, what
in the eyes of the
level?
law.
What?
But I don't know what really happened there.
Right.
Maybe look, he denied that he was what I told you about telling this to this woman, you know, the death of the supposed girl. He said no, it was not true. I told her something. He denied all this. I don't know the truth.
So can I?
I don't
What
know
level
if
of? What level did you? Because you sound like you were in charge of. What was your level in the police? How high were you?
No, at that time, I was.
You had a team of people torturing, so you must have had a level that was higher than the street.
I was a captain there, only captain there at that time.
Hmm.
After this, I was promoted, not only for this and for that, a few times. And at that time, I was a star there.
Hmm. So you
the
were.
police
You were.
was like in Hollywood. You know, I was a star there in the police.
So.
This is ridiculous, but this is what it happened. This is what was happened at that time. I was a star. I discovered this and that and that. Not by torturing. Look, this is not
No, it
a
wasn't.
system, it's not my system. And at that time, this was not a system in either. This is the unit that I served in was they call the central section. How do you call it? The Madon.
So you were in a special unit.
And this is the detective.
So you were in a Harlem
unit. This is the unit. It was the best unit in the
Hot
whole
shots.
of Israel, in Tel Aviv.
Okay. So
And
can
all
I
of
ask
the
you
stars,
about the judges and about the courts and
The judges, they believed in me because I looked like the way today, but I was young. And then
you were a star?
I was star, and I looked not like the other detectives. They were all big, they were looking like big force, big. And I looked for that. He's a good boy. He won't lie to us. He's a good. He can't be. Yes. I was civilized. I was dressed well, not like.
You were the movie star.
Yes.
You were the
No,
movie star. You were Starsky and Hutch,
Yes, so did I, but even I was comparing to Starsky and Hutch, I was a gentleman. Really.
Did you ever see any corruption then in either the police or the judicial system at that time?
Look, I tell you that the mentality was, I know that it was in other police units all over the world, in the West, yes, also that we were looking after, we were defending the back, one of the others, we were friends. When it's friends, you don't say a word, you don't speak against them. Okay, you cover for them. This is the first thing. This is one thing. Another thing is that the system of getting an experience and being a star for making the system of succeeding with the admissions,
Mm-hmm.
to make an admit, and you brought it to the rank of art,
Okay.
Make him admit
Right.
what he's done and this and that.
So you could get confessions better than anyone in
Not
that
better
unit.
than anyone, but that was
high
one of the
success.
best, yes.
And what about the civil or human rights of these people? Like the innocent ones sometimes?
The corruption, I think, is the system of admissions at all, because this makes you, gives you a motivation to look for this, first get the admission, and then seek for the other evidence that will support this admission.
Okay.
And if you find something which is good for the just okay. If it's in the file, what can I do? If it's not, leave it. Okay, the way they done in the Parklitur,
Okay, so as long as you have the admission, the evidence is kind of not that important.
we would have find
helps,
the
but-
other evidence to support it. You had the admission, you had a case. That's it, and you had it. There was not false admission evidence.
Mm-hmm.
It was not false, but you can look, if you admit, you can find evidence that would support it. Real evidence, real, I tell you, not forensic,
Mm-hmm.
but witnesses are human beings. Yes.
Yeah.
And you can, when you, let me say, if you record the recording speaking, in the jail, and you bring one of your kind to לדובר, איך אומרים,
Mm-hmm.
to make him speak with you the way you want to lead him, that's okay, you can do it. Yes. They've done it here in Roman Zadorov.
Zadorov
Yes, this
Zadorov
happens
at
all
the
the time
moment.
now,
Yeah,
yes,
I mean
also.
Zadorov at the moment.
Yes.
There's no evidence to
And
match
they
him.
made it in a primitive way.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Zadorov is a real stupid idiot, but I believe he didn't make it.
Well, the evidence doesn't support him committing the crime.
Yes, but
Blonde hair, small feet,
That's
you
your
know.
court, looking for the corruption. I have no other way, other words for the court that they were very angry that they brought him another time and all kinds of experts for the defense.
Mm.
How do you do it and this and that for the court? I can't understand it. Yes, about the Zadorov, the kind of התנהלות of the court. I don't understand it. What happened to you? It just.
So you say that the torture's gone out now of the investigations.
The
There used to be a
torture-
lot of
the
torture
torture-
inside,
look,
yeah.
not
Of
a lot.
well, there
Not
was
a lot.
enough of it, too
Not a
much
lot.
of it.
And I tell you another thing.
Mm-hmm.
Torture brought no results, no good results.
People would just say yes.
No, not at all. They don't say yes, and even if they say yes, it was no good. The torture was no good, and the results, it's no good.
Mm.
I tell you from experience, it's no good, and you can get over it. If you're smart, you can do it, and you have a good lawyer, you can do it also during this investigation. You can lead it to the other way. Torture is bad. Fraud, this is no good.
Mm.
Otherwise, the criminal that once you passed it, okay, for once, then you had you get in your mentality, you as if you built a wall. You can't penetrate him anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You get him in immunity against this.
So was
This
it?
is no good.
Did
This is
people
no good.
did people know about torture, or was it just? I mean, did everyone know that people were tortured, or was it just the police that knew they were
In my
using torture?
time-
Yeah, in your
In
time.
my
I'm going way
time,
back here.
this was not even. I told you about what happened.
Mm-hmm.
And at that time, there was no torture anymore. This was the end of the end of the end. There was not a disease
Mm-hmm.
anymore. It was here and there. This is my responsibility. Okay. But at that time, this was not in the entire police anymore.
Right.
In the investigation.
But did the public know about it, or was it very
Yes.
secret that you did it? I don't mean you. I
Look,
mean
I-
it was used.
It was
it?
denied
Right.
in the.
It was denied.
When you testified, you deny it.
Mm-hmm.
You deny it. At that time, I was not asked, if I remember good, I was not asked about torturing in the court. I didn't testify, but I was asked about this afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
And then, as I remember, I told that I saw part of it with the one who did it. And that's it.
Did you retire?
And I stopped it.
Did you retire from the police, or did you leave for a reason?
Um, this is another story. One day, I met. I had another thought. Second thought. Look, I had enough of this. My days in the force of the in the detective department. I told you about this. Okay, these were my my good days and
Your
my interesting
glory
days.
days. Yeah.
Afterwards, when I became chief superintendent, you know, that time I became, and I went to be in the מטה, איך קוראים לזה? מפקדה, מטה,
the police station.
no, not the police station. I was head of the police station, no, but was higher.
You had a division. It's like a division.
Yes, but you're not in the streets anymore.
Yeah, you're
a general.
strategic.
I didn't like it. I had okay, it's enough for me. And I decided then one day I met this friend of mine. I told him
A great
rest in peace,
lawyer.
I thought, yes. And one day I just met him, and it was in court. He was abroad. He came back. Hello, how are you? How are you? I don't know. What do you think? You look worried to me. What is there something that he asked? No, I'm thinking about retiring from the. Why now in the? I told him, look, maybe I go to this, and then he told me, look, this is serious. Come to me, to my home. At 9 o'clock in the evening, and we sat there until 6 o'clock in the morning.
And you made a career change.
And then I decided, yes, I go out, and I tried to go to the other side. Yes, this was the only side.
Can I ask you, just in the last 3 months, there's been a lot of corruption of Malka, and there was a suicide of a chief of police.
Oh, yes.
There's a lot coming out right now, and I'm hearing there's a lot more to come in terms of corruption. Are you surprised?
I'm surprised about the size of the corruption. In my days, I don't remember something like this. This is really huge. Maybe it was at the time and I didn't know about this. But this side of the corruption, with moles in the police, and this was in the fairy tales at that time. But now it's real. I didn't see it. And the one who took his life, I knew him. I knew him very good. He was really a very honest man. He was in my time, but I knew him. I knew him from the other side. He was at the unit that I served there many years ago. That he was, and he was okay. He was he was tough, and he was very honest, real honest. I tell you, not like me. He was honest, really honest. Really. No tortures, rights. I'm telling you, he was honest, and he was honest towards me also when he didn't lie, he didn't this and didn't all this hanky-panky, didn't do such things. He succeeded in his work honestly. Look, this is something, not with all kinds of tricks and this and that. He's a very honest man. He took his life. I can understand it. Why he did it. Real honest man. It was hurt. I believe it was hurt badly.
So we have a situation with corrupt lawyers, corrupt attorneys,
Corrupt
corrupt
lawyers-
judges, corrupt cops.
No. Corrupt lawyers.
Mhm.
This, you have to be very careful with this.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask
The
you.
lawyers for the prosecution
Mhm.
mostly are good people. Tell you.
Mhm.
The way this prosecutor in his trial, I cannot understand. Look, this is the first time that I heard something. Look, in this size, I couldn't understand it, and all these tricks about. I haven't heard
You
about
speak
this.
then about the case of Moshe Gorelick.
Yes, about Moshe Gorelick. This is something I haven't seen. I was.
How a man can go to prison with no proof.
Yes, and the behavior of this
Mhm.
the lawyer for the prosecution, I couldn't understand it. I haven't not in this size really.
And how can you understand the behavior of the judges in the
I cannot.
Tel Aviv court
I cannot
and
really.
Supreme Court?
Not this size. Not in this. It can't be. Just it isn't done in my eyes. I haven't seen such thing. Taking and twist all the evidence. This is really mad.
So all the
This is
years
very
ago
crazy things.
when it was Starsky and Hutch and the goodies and the baddies and, you know, as you describe it, it was almost like the good old days, even though the
No,
civil rights
no.
and the torture and everything was bad. But look at it now with
No,
the
everything. Not everything.
convictions.
It's not that everything was bad. This is not true.
No.
No, it wasn't that. It wasn't a corrupt police as a police.
Right.
It was not. And I tell you, when it was discovered, when it was hidden, when it was discovered, look, there was in 1950 a police commissioner that he was brought to trial for this. For the Shurat HaMitnadvim, yes,
Mhm.
he was he lied in court.
And it was a scandal.
It was a scandal, yes.
Right.
Okay, so when it was discovered, there was an investigation. There was this is not a
So,
cover up like
That's
this.
what I mean. In
This
your
is not
day,
like in South Africa.
in your when you were working,
Yes.
it was much more open and dealt with. If something was found out, it was cleaned up. You know.
I don't know, cleaned up, but this
Or
at
dealt with.
at that point, yes.
Yeah.
At that point, yes.
And now, it's just so big.
And now, what's happening with what you discovered here, what you
Yeah.
told me here that I already know, and it was last for years. I don't remember such story about I don't know how can you do it when you can't do it without other people know. This is you
Mhm.
can't do such things alone.
Maybe more people know.
That's it.
Mhm.
That's I think know and cover it, and that I believe you can't make such an operation without other people know.
So here we have. You told me civil rights. You didn't. You know, in those days, wasn't the number one priority.
That's right.
And
That is very right. Yes.
and now civil rights are definitely not on the priority.
No.
Because
no.
you think they are?
I told you, this is in my time.
In your day.
In my days, yes. But today,
Mhm.
I tell you, I see it in the I read
Itan.
the judgments.
Oh, the
of
okay,
court.
Peter.
That now, in these 5 years,
Mhm.
that the court brought many new things that were old, but brought many things of the civil rights to the above level. Yes, And now, in many cases, they made the court acquit because of this reason only. To make the police, to make it not worthwhile with the police to act like this.
But there's still 99.8%
Yes,
conviction.
this I can understand. But look,
It's not.
this is a trend that I see in courts, but what is not I can't put one this with the fact of the 99%. This I can understand. I cannot understand. I can understand, yes, but this trend has no results that I want to see with the percent.
Are you shocked by the lack of human rights in Israel at the moment? Are you shocked by it compared to the 80s and 70s?
Shocked.
In a Jewish.
No, I learned to live with this because look, I'm not a good person myself, so I can't be shocked about this. I've seen it all.
I bet you have.
As one who is in a way also corrupt in his personality. This is my responsibility. I can't be shocked about this.
We have to stop when somebody admits corruption, don't we? I really thank you for your time, but when we get to the word "I'm corrupt," we're going to say.
I'm not a saint. I'm not a saint, and I see corruption, and I live with this. I see corruption. Look, I didn't take bribery ever. I didn't not in this level of dirt. I didn't
Not
think
like now.
never in my life. Yes. This is really something dirty that I can't. This is filth, you know.
It is.
And I think most of the cops see it this way, except that they behave like me. They see it, and they don't.
They don't talk about it, or they
don't talk about it.
Don't report it. Don't
look
tell.
the other way. Yes, and that's the way I saw it. I behaved the same. When I saw the corruption, I saw corruption in the level of filth, as I said, and I didn't tell anybody. I was alone in this boat. I didn't tell. Well, this is my corruption. Not seeing it.
I'm saying nothing.
I'm not a saint, and I didn't take to my pocket, but my duty was to as a policeman to do it. I didn't do it, and I say, okay, my excuse is that look, I did what all the others did, even abroad in other police. We saw it. We saw it in the United States when it was, all the stories about Prince of the Town. How do you call it?
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's a movie that I saw. It was a true story. It was not such corruption here. Like in that movie, it was huge about that. But I saw it. I didn't tell anybody. I didn't inform this.
Okay.
To my superiors, never.
Thanks. I'm going to stop at that, and I really thank you very much.
By the way, Danny,